Have you ever stopped to think about language as this massive collection of codes, like secret patterns just hiding there in plain sight that can unlock the meaning of thousands of words? Well, today we are cracking that code. Okay, let's dive right in. Really think about it. What if, instead of having to memorize every single definition one by one, you could just learn a handful of simple building blocks, the kind that would let you decode really complex words, like on the fly? That's exactly what we're going to do. So here's our game plan for this journey. First, we're going to jump into the world of ologies. Then, we'll build a catalog of characters, explore the language of relationships, touch on some of the darker words for obsessions and endings, and then wrap it all up by looking at how we talk about, well, talking. First up, the ologies. Now, this is probably one of the most common and honestly most useful codes you can learn. That simple ending, ology, it comes from the Greek word logia, and it just means the study of. And once you get that one little piece, seriously, a whole world just kind of opens right up. Okay, so let's start with a little riddle. What could possibly connect the ground beneath our feet, the birds soaring up in the sky, and the way we all vote? They seem completely unrelated, right? Well, they all share one big thing. They're all fields of study. They are all ologies. So check this out. This is the pattern in action. You take a root word, you slap ology on the end, and boom! Geo for earth gets you geology. Ornitho for birds, ornithology. Spepho for elections, which is a great one to know, by the way, is spithology. And philo for language gives us philology. It's just a simple, powerful formula that you can use pretty much everywhere. All right, so from big fields of study, let's zoom in a little bit. We're going from the what to the who. This section is a catalog of characters, all those words that we use to describe people based on their passions, their beliefs, and even their jobs. Okay, this is where things get interesting and a little subtle. A gourmet and a connoisseur, they're both totally into food, but they are not the same thing. A gourmet just really loves good food. A connoisseur, though, is an expert judge. So you've got passion on one side and critical expertise on the other. It's a small but important difference. Hey, remember philology from a minute ago? Well, that philo part, it comes from the Greek root phil, and it just means love. And once you see it everywhere. A bibliophile is a lover of books. An Anglophile is someone who loves or really admires English culture. Anytime you see that phil root, you just know it's about loving something. Now, let's switch gears to belief systems. The root word here is theos. That's Greek for God. So a theist is a believer in God. But what happens when you put the prefix a in front of it? That usually means not or without. So an atheist is someone who doesn't believe in God. That one little letter A at the front, it just completely flips the meaning on its head. And we can get even more specific just by adding a couple more prefixes. So mono means one, poly means many. A monotheist then believes in one God, while a polytheist believes in many gods. And once you know those two prefixes, you'll see them all over the place, in everything from a monologue to a polygon. Now for the total opposite of phil. The Greek root mis means hatred. So a misogynist is a hater of women. That gin part refers to women. And a misandrist is a hater of men. Andrer referring to men. Yeah, it's a pretty dark root, but a super powerful one to have in your back pocket. Okay, so we've talked about individuals. Now let's talk about how we connect with each other. This next section is all about the words we use for bonds, for vows, and for unions. It's really the language of our relationships. And we're going to start with the big one, matrimony. It's a formal-sounding word, but it just means the state of being married. It's our starting point, our baseline, before we start exploring all the different variations. And here we go. This is where our old friends, the prefixes, come back into play. The suffix gamy is all about marriage. So, mono, for one, gives us monogamy. Bi, meaning two, gives us bigamy. And poly, for many, gives us polygamy. And check out that last one, polyandry. Remember ander for man? That's how we know it means a woman with several husbands. See, it's all just a code. All right, brace yourselves because we're about to take a sharp turn into the darker side of language. We're moving away from vowels and unions and into the really powerful words we have for obsessions and for the ultimate ending, killing. So the Latin root side means to kill, and it is chillingly specific. You combine it with patri for father, and you get patricide. Matri for mother, matricide. Fratry for brother, that's fratricide, and regi for king, think regal or reign, and you get regicide, the killing of a king. And then there's this word, and it really deserves its own moment: genocide. That geno part refers to a race or a people. So the word itself literally means the killing of a race. It is a term of immense, immense weight and historical gravity. Now, moving from endings to obsessions, let's look at the mania suffix. This tells you there's an uncontrollable impulse or an obsession at play. So kleptomania is the urge to steal. Dipsomania is that uncontrollable urge for alcohol. Pyromania, an obsession with fire. Megalomania, an obsession with power. And mythomania, a compulsion to lie. Each one describes a really powerful driving force. Okay, for our final chapter, we're getting a little meta. We're going to turn the lens back on the very thing we've been using this whole time: language. This is all about the words we use to describe other words and the ways we speak. And here's another fantastic distinction. Someone who is eloquent isn't just talkative. They are expressive and effective. Their words have real impact. Now, someone who is loquacious, well, they're just very talkative. It's that classic difference between quality and quantity. Oh, and I absolutely love this next one: circumlocution. I mean, just look at that definition. It's so long, it's so roundabout. It is a perfect example of circumlocution itself. It's just the act of using way too many words when, a few would have worked just fine. So clever. So when you pull it all together, what have we really learned? Ology, side, fill, miss, gammy. These aren't just random bits and pieces of words. They're a toolkit. They're a set of keys that lets you unlock meaning and really understand the world and the people in it with so much more clarity. We've seen that every single word is like a tiny little story, a piece of history, a code just waiting to be read. So the question I want to leave you with is this: now that you have some of the keys, what story are you going to uncover next?